Something in that forest knows your name, and it only whispers before the wind begins. The whisper hits like a cold breath in the dark, a voice that shouldn't exist, a voice that shouldn't know you. That's the first thing I want you to remember, because everything that happened started with that sound, that soft, broken call that made my blood freeze in place. My name is Ethan, and I never believed in the stories about Blackroot Forest. I grew up hearing them from my grandfather, who always said the forest doesn't speak to everyone, only to the ones it wants. I used to laugh at that. Trees don't talk, and wind is just wind. Or at least, that's what I kept telling myself. Until the night it whispered my name. I wasn't even inside the forest that night. I was walking past it on the gravel road, heading back home after work. The sun was gone, and everything was turning into that weird blue darkness right before full night hits. The forest stood there like a wall of shadows. Tall trees, no moonlight slipping through. The kind of darkness that feels thick, like it's watching you back. I wouldn't have stopped walking if I hadn't heard it. A whisper. My name. So close it felt like it touched my ear. Ethan. I spun around thinking someone was behind me, but the road was empty, silent. And when I looked at the forest again, the trees weren't moving at all. Not even a hint of wind. That's when it clicked. The stories always said the forest whispers only before the wind starts. Once the wind comes, you're already too late. I tried to laugh it off. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe I was tired. But Then it whispered again, a little deeper, a little slower. Ethan, come back. For a moment, I thought it was someone messing with me. But the voice sounded wrong. Like it was trying to copy a human, but didn't fully understand how a human voice actually works. The whisper didn't rise or fall. It just stretched. My feet moved before my brain did. I took a single step closer to the tree line. And I swear to you, the second I did, everything around me got colder. The darkness felt heavier, like the whole forest held its breath. Forced myself to step back. I told myself I'd never go near that place at night again. But the problem is, after the forest whispers your name once, it doesn't stop. The next day at work, I could have sworn I heard it again. So faint, I couldn't tell if it was real or in my head. At lunch, in the hallway, even walking home, every time I got closer to Blackroot Forest, the whisper grew sharper, like someone calling me from behind a thin wall. That night, I stood outside my house, staring at the tree line. I felt something pulling me, not physically, more like curiosity mixed with an ache in my chest I couldn't explain. My grandfather's old warning echoed in my head. If the forest whispers your name, never answer it. But I did. I whispered back, "What do you want?" And that changed everything. The wind picked up instantly. Not a soft breeze, a sudden, violent push that almost knocked me backward. The trees swayed, groaned, and rustled like something massive was moving through them. And in the middle of all that noise, the whisper finally spoke clearly. Come to where your shadow fades. The next morning, I found footprints leading from my front door all the way to the woods, except they weren't shaped like mine. And there were two sets, one walking toward the forest and another walking back. I checked my boots, floors, everything. I hadn't gone anywhere. But something walked out of the forest that night, and something went back in. I tried to tell myself I was being paranoid, but each night something changed. My bedroom door would be open when I woke up, the back gate would be unlatched, my phone would be in a different place. And every morning, fresh footprints appeared, always leading back to the forest. One night, I woke up hearing someone breathing beside my bed. Not loud, not threatening, just there, calm, patient. Like whoever or whatever was standing there was waiting for me to open my eyes. I didn't. I pretended to sleep, but the whisper leaned closer, right next to my ear. Why are you afraid of what you already are? I felt my entire body turn to ice. I wanted to scream, but the whisper wasn't angry. It wasn't mocking me. It sounded curious, almost gentle. The next day, I finally broke and told my best friend Mark. He didn't believe me, of course. He said I needed sleep. So that night, he stayed over. At 2:43 a.m., he shook me awake. "Dude, someone's walking in your hallway." We both froze, listening. Footsteps, slow, heavy, moving from the kitchen to the living room, then stopping right outside my bedroom door. Mark whispered, "Call the cops." But before I even reached for my phone, the footsteps started again. This time, going toward the back door, then outside, into the forest. Mark and I followed the sound to the doorway, but when we opened the door, the night was completely still. Silent. No wind, no movement. Then the whisper called my name again. But it didn't come from the forest. It came from Mark's direction. We both stared at each other. His face went pale. He stepped back, like he'd felt something move behind him. The whisper echoed again, not from the trees, not from the wind, from right beside him. Something slipped into the woods. We didn't see it, but we heard the leaves part and branches bend. Mark refused to stay another second. For the next week, I tried to avoid the forest entirely. I changed my route, slept with the lights on, even nailed my back door shut. But you can't outrun something that already knows your name. Last night, everything came together. I woke up standing, not lying in bed, standing at the edge of Blackroot Forest, barefoot, wearing the same clothes I'd worn to sleep. I didn't remember walking there. I didn't even remember dreaming. The forest was silent. No wind, not a sound. Then I saw it. A figure, standing between the trees. Same height as me, same build, same posture. And when it stepped forward, moonlight hit its face. It was me, but its eyes weren't mine. They were completely black. No whites, no pupils. And when it smiled, the shape was wrong. Too wide, like its mouth had forgotten how to be human. It whispered my name perfectly. My voice, my tone, like it had practiced. Then it nodded toward the forest floor. I looked down, and there were fresh footprints. Mine, leading behind me, back to my house. The thing whispered, "You came to where your shadow fades. Now let me go home." It stepped out of the tree line, walking past me, walking toward the road, toward my house. And when I tried to move, to chase it, my body didn't respond. It felt like invisible hands held me in place. I realized something horrifying. The forest never wanted me to enter. It wanted me to stay. I turned around to run, but the path behind me had changed. The trees shifted. The ground moved. My footprints disappeared in seconds. The forest closed, sealing me inside. I'm not telling you this story from safety. I'm still here. And the forest gets deeper every day. Wind hasn't started yet. When it does, I think that's when the forest finally decides what to do with me, or what parts of me it wants. If anyone sees someone who looks like me outside my house, that isn't me. Don't talk to it. Don't answer it. Don't follow it into the woods. Because once the forest whispers your name, it already has another version of you waiting. Voiceover and whispered. What you hear first is never the real you. Subscribe before your screen goes dark. This is the digital nightmare. Before you go, what would you do